Hi, everybody. Lorina here, Kimmie here. We're here to do some spirit chats. So, we're going to do some chatting about what is energy healing anyway. It's a good question. So, we're going to talk about that. Who wants to start talking about it? Me or you?
I guess I'll just tell you, like, it's funny when I don't know about. Do you have a lot of people think that just laying the hands and feeling good, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a Reiki. Traditionally, now there's a lot of different spin-offs of traditional Reiki, but Reiki energy healing is when it's basically you're putting hands on somebody and like, we'll put him here, and then we'll put him here, and then we'll put him here, on different parts of the body. Some parts, sometimes those hands hover above different parts of the body. But if I can, I like to put it on the body. Some parts you don't want to touch. But anyway, it's very specific, and you use symbols and it's supposed to be this universal energy that you are bringing through you because you've had an attunement to be able to learn how to do this type of energy healing or to carry and hold that energy. Yeah. So Reiki is very specific. I did a class a couple of weeks ago and we did energy healing. Well, we did some work with energy as part of this class. So it's just working with energy. So it wasn't a class about energy healing. And so I was teaching people how to feel energy with your hands and then move energy and see how it feels as you do these things. And without any training, it can be quite profound what you feel just starting to tune into that and feel around people's energy field. It was a really fun class. Everyone loved it. And there are people who've never done anything like that before. And so one of the guys said, "Oh, I've never done Reiki before." And I'm like, "Well, you still have it." He said, "This isn't Reiki. This is working with energy and tuning into it and feeling it. And it's that simple." So there are a lot of misconceptions around what energy healing is because you can just work with energy and do an energy healing without ever being a practitioner or learning. It's tuning in and feeling the energy field and starting to manipulate it. Yeah. Which is actually pretty simple. You just have to learn how to, it's really quick, easy learning and feeling into the field. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty easy. Well, it really is just a matter of tuning in. And then what you find out or learn is that, well, first of all, we are all energy. We are energy beings. We are spirit beings that hold a particular energy who are and we're in a body. So you're working with energy. And another class that I was at, while I was teaching, somebody came in and it's a guy. And so we take turns, like everybody talks a little bit about themselves. And he didn't call himself an energy healer. So this is what he did for a living. He's a very powerful guy. He said, "Oh, I don't call it energy healing. I call myself an energy practitioner." And that actually seems more accurate, actually, because what you're doing is you're going in there and moving energy. And that's it. You are moving some energy around. You're taking energy out, you're opening energy up, you're pulling stuff out. Really, to me, more accurately, what energy healing is, you're going into the energy field and pulling stuff out. That's it. And then at some point you can, and this is where Reiki comes in, is sometimes towards the end, there is energy that comes in, but you've moved a whole bunch of stuff. And then you bring in this kind of higher frequency energy that goes into those places within the energy body that has been cleared out so that you can actually feel that more, those higher vibrations of energy or frequency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it took me a while because, like, I come from an acupuncture background, and
Mhm.
I think these things were very much a part of the original understanding
Mm.
of acupuncture, but because of stripping away a lot of the spiritual shamanic roots by the
Mhm.
government and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
that happened. It took me a while to understand because I didn't get that until I actually was more involved in other things, of how much of an active participation there is with energy work or energy healing. Meaning, like, I think we were taught culturally, like the Reiki, that like somebody just shows up and they're very zen when they
Uh,
just either just chakra you. What is it? Chakra was like, I remember one of the
oh, the
symbols.
chukare or chokore. I am a Reiki master. The chokore.
Yeah. And or you just put a needle in somebody and you just let them give them their 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And then, so there was like there's this misunderstanding how much like is created. When we talked about this in a little pre-chat a little bit of when things aren't working, it's usually because there's a stagnation, there's a stuck energy, it needs to be extracted. But learning how to extract and interact with that energy is like I'm gonna call it more of the dirty work, but the harder, right? It's the harder part. It's where you can pick up things, where you can see things that can be intense or heavy. But it's a matter of moving that out properly and not just showing up and expecting this feel good experience, because I think that gets in the way of what real true energy work and healing is.
Yeah. Well, and that's the expectation of what or perhaps the not really knowing what can happen when you do an energy healing. That, yeah. So, and I've been in some groups that we've been doing a lot of talking about being an energy healer, and what an energy healer is actually a garbage collector. It's a good analogy. It's stuck energy. Most of it is stuck energy. And some of that stuck energy can be from lifetimes, not just this lifetime, like old patterns that have been reoccurring for quite some time that show up as an illness. And so you start moving that energy out, that stuck energy, the garbage, so to speak, and you're going to feel different. You're going to feel lighter usually. But what can happen is that the stuff that was stuck underneath the stuff that was stuck is going to go, wait a minute. I want to come out now. I'm here. So more stuff can emerge that was stuck. And also you might feel some of that stuff that was stuck.
Yeah.
And in fact, at some point there, as far as integrating what is coming out, I think that there has to be some sort of knowledge about what that is, what that old energy is. And a lot of times when you're doing energy healing, you get what it is. You can see it. Sometimes you can see it. Sometimes you feel it. Sometimes you just get information about what it is and you see where it is in the body and you move it out. And I don't know how other energy healers work, but I usually tell people what I'm seeing. Not always, because it might interrupt the flow. So maybe afterwards, like, okay, this is, or maybe after I've done a bunch of stuff, moved a lot of stuff, and then go, okay, well, this is what was happening. And it's really interesting, and you always see different things. And I don't know, it's just interesting thing to be able to do and to tune into. And another part is that the person who's doing the energy healing, since you're the garbage collector, you can bring home some of the garbage without intending to. So the garbage collector has to learn how to clean themselves off, clean off their own energy field. And yeah, and essentially what you're doing, a big part of energy healing is also clearing out karmas. So you're clearing out karmas. So the energy healer has to be really good at moving that stuff as far as for themselves afterwards. So sometimes, like, I come home from work and I have to clear for about an hour or just to move that stuff, and it might not all be gone. It's a big part of doing energy work. It's like, oh, that was a big one. Okay, I got to go clear that for myself. But anyway, so that's part of energy healing too. And some of the really new energy healers that just decide, oh, I want to be a Reiki healer. I want to be energy healer. It's a beautiful thing to want to be able to do, but the depth of what you're going into is so much more than you could ever imagine. That's a beautiful intention, but man, it can go deep what you're
Right.
actually moving. So it takes a certain amount of courage, maybe some
Yeah.
naivete around it, because it can get really deep and really intense. But it's an amazing thing to be able to do too, to go in there and start pulling stuff out.
Speaking of
Hmm.
karmic stuff around energy, stepping into the shoes of being an energy healer, even though energy worker, whatever. Healer,
Hmm.
I always have to think about that word healer because it means I'm doing the work. That's how healer sometimes translates to savior in some people's minds, and that's not what
Good
I'm
point.
doing.
Mhm.
But
'Cause really it's not you. It's like it's a higher energy and information that's coming through. But yes, please go ahead.
you're just playing the role, like helping the helper.
Yeah,
But
facilitating, just helping facilitate.
yeah. But one time, and I know this goes back to my plant medicine work, and the very first time I ever used plant medicine was with San
Hmm.
Pedro at a retreat with La Gringa, who is like the famous. She's British. I think she's British. But
Hmm.
anyways, she was trained by a San Pedro healer, a well-known one in Cusco. I'd never done anything before, and the instructions were to drink the tea. I drink it, and I remember she gave these instructions. I was terrified. I didn't know what to expect. I was a little bit of a control freak. And she said, when you drink it and you purge, it's gonna always make you purge. She says to look at the purge and to like to feel it, to see what you let go of. So I remember like it came on and then I purged and this huge message came from it and I saw like a lifetime, one of them I'm not going to share. And then San Pedro said to me, I was sitting under this tree because it was hot out. I was trying to get some shade. And it said, every person that comes across your table, like as you do your work in this lifetime, is an opportunity for you to heal your own self. Like, and then he was pretty direct, like your own karma. And so he was like, do not judge anybody that comes across your table because there's a reason they're in front of you. There's a reason that you're getting to fast track this. This is a great blessing. That this is the message I was given by San Pedro. And to understand that you are coming up and you're cleaning it up fast because you're rounding up here. Like, and I'm eventually getting off this rock. And it was like such an interesting message to see. Like, you might get some people in front of you. It might be so hard. It might be so intense. But just know of all the massive opportunity you've been given to help
Hmm.
people, but then to help yourself and then
Hmm.
just to be a clean slate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that always stuck with me. And so
Yeah.
that dynamic of being able to do that for other people and just in this lifetime.
Yeah. It's amazing to help other people. It's really amazing. Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's just not an easy thing. It's because there's so much depth to it. That's all. Yeah. But it's amazing. And lately, so what I've been doing, and I do so many different things when I do energy healing because I've just learned so many systems. So everything is like, what do we do today? And I just tune in and go, what are we doing today? And and I usually have somebody laying on a massage table and I'm working on them. And lately, so what I've been doing is going to the navel area. And sometimes I put my thumb right on their navel
Mm.
and not always, or I'm focusing in on that area. So what information comes from that area of the body? Because
Yeah.
this is where we are born. This is a symbol of us becoming a human, getting a body. And so it's an interesting thing to focus on. I've been doing it lately. And I had three really interesting experiences. So I was looking at, I had my thumb on this woman's navel. And what I saw come up out of her, like, is her as a fetus,
Okay.
still in the womb, like almost like energetically wrapped in the womb. And what I saw was her, if I remember correctly, her father had left her mother when her mom was still pregnant with her. And
Oh,
so what I could see was all of the wounding that came from that experience, from that the mother felt that she's got that energy inside of this, and also her perception of that became an energetic construct that was still held there in that womb. So we cleared that out. So that was really cool. And I did something, it was like the exact same day. Something similar happened to the woman. I was doing a session on the same day where I was looking at that womb area, and it wasn't the same circumstance, but something very similar of this energy that comes from the mother, a perception that comes from the mother that becomes part of the your identity structure from when you're born. And so I saw that again. And so a lot of clearing that out. And then the third one was really interesting because I wasn't as focused on that. But what I saw that this woman, she worked with a lot of women. I think that's pretty common. She, younger, in her 20s, still wears her, and we had talked about her soulmate, like who, but this is an energy clearing. This is not at this moment a reading, and it became a reading. So what I saw was I was focused on the navel area again, and what I saw was this man that she's going to meet in the future. But what I saw, this is a really cool vision. I've never seen anything like this, but it came out of the navel area. I saw her and this man and children. But then I saw this line of like this lifetime, like about 7 lifetimes going back. And I think there's actually more to that, but I don't think I needed to see more than that. Like the future partner that she's going to meet in this lifetime, she has done the same, like she's get married to this guy, have kids. They've been together many lifetimes playing out this role. Well, this is going to happen again in this lifetime, but this is what I saw. I could see it like the first one popped up and then this one behind it. And it was super cool. It's like, oh, this guy. this, this has happened before through many lifetimes, and you're going to be doing it again. And to me, it felt like a real soulmate, like a true soulmate, like probably from the same soul group. So they've known each other from the beginning when they individuated as a spirit and started incarnating. And anyway, so it was a really cool thing to be able to see. And that was at an energy healing. So you just never know what you're going to see. And nothing needed to be cleared at that moment. That was just information that was just like, oh, look at that. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun little vision. Yeah.
Do you feel, this is a question I was going to ask you, do you feel that you have certain types of clients or themes? Because we all have a frequency, and I think work we have to do, but do you have a general type of wounding that you attract?
Oh, that's a good question. That it's really varied, but sometimes I have clients who have had a lot of like sexual abuse and are still getting through that. Some people who've had addictions. Really, honestly, it could be anything. But usually when people come in for energy healings, they're going through a really rough time. A lot of these people, okay, I just thought of the pattern now. A lot of these people have issues with their mother. I'm laughing because I had issues with my mother. Yeah. And the range of problems with mother can go from not so bad to really bad, but a lot of issues with mother. And I think that's really common. But that seems to be the pattern right now. And then it may shift to like women, people who come in who have issues with their father. But right now, that seems to be a pattern, like the mother thing. Yeah. So, how about you? Because you've done all sorts of, you've done different types of energy healing.
Well, I mean, I think what I've learned about myself, it's funny, I was thinking about this and we had this little pre-chat earlier about where we have all our talents. I think it's important to recognize our strengths and our talents. I don't think that I'm as, sorry, my dog.
We love dogs. Help it.
He should be okay. But what I've recognized through my work in the last 15 years, starting as an acupuncturist, I've learned Reiki, hypnotherapy, combo practitioner, which is frog healing from the Amazon. I believe I probably am more of, in the Native American traditions, they call it a hand trembler. Have you ever heard of that? Where I'm a Gemini. I get information. I'm pretty direct. I can get good diagnostics. But I think for people like you, because you're like, you have Capricorn energy, that's earth energy. You're very strong in your abilities to get in the physical body, extract, and then pull it out. Where I just think my talents lend towards more of the mental spiritual versus the physical abilities. So I did get a very strong pattern of sexual traumas and infertility. For whatever reason, I can help people get pregnant. That's one of
Wonderful.
my gifts too. And then when I was doing my combo work, I have a really strong ability to cast out spirits that are not supposed to be there. For whatever reason in my family, I think it's a family line thing. When people would be on combo, I would start to see like shadows and things, and then I would just like focus on it. And then I'm like, you got to go. And I could literally see them leave the room. And they never scared me. I never felt like I was somebody that never got attacked by them. And I'm not saying like bragging about that. For whatever reason, I have an ancestry behind me that could hold that energy and like expulsion, but drive it out. And that seems to be what I'm good at.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I think that if you really go down the path of doing energy healing, you're going to experience and see that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna.
It's, yeah. It's part of it. It's part of the work. So that's and that's what I was talking about, that intention of like, oh, I'm going to be an energy healer, to the reality of some of the stuff that you see it's very different. Yeah, very different. I did a session on a guy who was addicted to porn.
Oh.
Yeah, and not like a serious addiction. And there was dark stuff around him. That's all I'm gonna say. And you have to learn how to move that energy. You gotta go. Yeah, you're not welcome here.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting job. So very interesting.
Gonna turn your reality inside out.
Yeah. And that's like talking about egregores. Like sometimes, and we've talked about this in spirit chats before, egregores, and seeing those really deeply held patterns that become an actual thing that looks like an entity, but it isn't an entity, but it almost looks like it has a life of its own, but it's something else. Those things sometimes come out. So just one of those things that is part of energy healing. Yeah. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Like I've talked about this before. I saw this thing come out of this woman that looked like the Disney character whose stepmother, and this was this woman's mother, but the stepmother becomes this evil thing coming up and out of the body, and this almost like in the Disney movies where she comes out and is exposed for who she is, and it's really this evil being that's coming up out of this thing that looks like it almost becomes like a dragon. It's like a dark, scary, evil dragon, but actually, it's not. It's actually an egregore. It's an egregore. It's not a real thing, but a real entity, I should say. It's real as far as like an energetic construct, but it's not an entity. And that left, but it's pretty wild. It's a really interesting thing to do for a sometimes I love doing readings because it doesn't carry all this other weight usually.
Yeah.
Because energy healing, there's a lot of times there's a lot of weight to it as far as like difficult stuff that needs to move. Whereas, yeah, doing readings are lighter and easier and more fun, actually, because
And if those things come up, you have more of a distance, right?
yeah, yeah, and sometimes when you do a reading, like some energy might start moving, or that can happen too. I've seen it happen. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, something's moving. So anyway, it's working in that kind of psychic world, the mystical world where anything can happen. It's really fun being in that world. It's one of my favorite things to do, is just almost like if I could live in that world, like more like it can't live in that world all the time, but There's something about it that's really amazing and cool that kind of makes, well, that's me. That's what I love. But sometimes you just have to go out and hang out with a bunch of really good friends and have a yummy dinner at a French restaurant.
Yeah.
There's, you got to find the balance in life too. But yeah, it's really amazing to be in that world of the mystic and getting psychic information and feeling all this stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. But and also just to talk about energy healing, does it really work?
So it'll ask you.
Explanation of what energy healing is. It can get confusing too, because really it's pulling stuff out. It's pulling a lot of stuff out. And that doesn't mean that miraculous things can't happen, because it can. And I've seen it. And it's pretty amazing to be part of things really healing. But what's happening when something is really being healed? You're getting stuff out of the way so that you can be healthy emotionally or physically or mentally or whatever. Yeah. Do you have anything to say about that? Because that's a
Yeah,
big
I mean,
issue.
I feel like what I've learned about this in the past, I think when I was younger, I used to probably be attracted to doing this kind of work more from like my ego in the sense of like, oh, I'll be able to heal people. Like I'll be able, and then people will
Mhm,
like think I'm so wonderful. Like I didn't mind,
mhm,
I probably didn't know that back then. I wasn't conscious of that, but now
mhm,
understanding more of like spiritual responsibility for myself, what I was putting on other people, like meaning I expected the external modalities, whether it be acupuncture, energy healing, plant medicine, that
mhm,
they were gonna like suddenly just alleviate my my suffering. When really it's I feel like as an energy worker, you come in and you do something similar where you clear energy, you get it flowing again for them, you show them, you lighten their load
mhm,
so that they can then have more of a distance to what they need to work on
mhm,
and the things they need to change, have more room for reflection so that they can find their own power. They can find their own relationship to their illness,
mhm,
whatever it is going on. That's hard because if you have some certain people come back, they've had energy work, they've had acupuncture, whatever, and they'll say, well, it felt good for like 4 or 5 days and then it slowly started to come back.
mhm.
Well, are you still in that bad are you talking to them? Are you still in that bad relationship? Are you still eating McDonald's? Are you still watching TV 8 hours a day? Not gonna magically be able to get that to stop for you.
Mhm.
I cleared a path. I don't know. I'm the garbage worker. I cleared the path. I took the garbage off your sidewalk.
Yeah. There's a level of self-responsibility that goes along with it, to be able to reflect and look at yourself and see if there's anything that you need to change in your life to make your life better. So what it is, so so I look at sometimes energy healing as like you're unwrapping stuff so that there's more of your soul that has been freed up so that you can actually live more of your life in a way that feels free. Like there's more freedom within you so that you can do what you want or whatever you want to create in your life, the kind of life that you want to have, to maybe be clearer so that you can actually do that. So it's like a freeing the soul in some ways, but there's a lot of stuff in there and you got to do the work and self-reflection and going, how did I create this? And self-responsibility, how did I create this? Oh man, this kind of sucks. What did I do to create this? Not just other people. And also, and not just expecting to be fully healed without looking at yourself and changing your life in some way so that you do have so that you are creating what you want in your life. There's just, it's the energy healer is just helping you unwrap so that more of you is available to live. But sometimes again, and we already spoke about this, there's more stuff underneath there that once you unwrap this, it's like, oh no, there's more stuff coming up that needs to be unwrapped. And there's a lot of stuff in there. This is many lifetimes that created this right here and now, and lots of karma unwrapping, resolving, so that you are more free, so that you do have more freedom. Yeah. Anyway.
And then there's a certain I have a friend that I'm trying to help right now, and they're going through our time, and they were younger. And
Mhm.
I remember what that was like when I was younger. So I'm always telling them, like, you don't understand how valuable this time is in your life because you're gonna get on the other end of it.
Mhm.
And like all that you find in that darkness, that whatever rage or sadness or that I can tell you these feelings are meant to teach you. They
Mhm.
want to be felt. And just because they don't feel good at the moment,
Mhm.
the power, the stability you give yourself going through the hard stuff
Mhm.
on your own, supported by friends and things like that, it makes you more resilient on the other end.
Mhm. Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
somebody took that away from you, they would be doing your soul a disservice. They
Mhm.
come and they help. They don't come to take away, you know?
Yeah. And sometimes you really need help. That's all there's to it. But yeah. But and also we talked about this a little bit. Using the word healing is because also what our subconscious mind does is like, oh no, I need to be healed. Oh no, I when you use that word a lot, heal, I need to be healed. What happens is your subconscious starts going, oh, wait, what needs to be healed? And you're going to find more and more things that need to be healed. So, so actually, in a sense, like using that word again, energy healer is in a sense not useful, but it's what it's called because what can I shift and change to create the life I want is actually a better way to look at it. And so just helping like going to somebody who does energy healing or energy practitioner to help you unwrap some of that stuff so that you can create the life that you want is actually better wording and more actually more empowering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And again, looking at how did I create this? Oh man. Whatever the this is. What are the underlying issues behind that that help create that thing? It's a good
Yeah.
thing to look at. Yeah. Yeah. And so
Thank
I
you.
grew up
Yeah, you
yeah, I grew up in a weird family. A lot of stuff going on there. I've been through a lot. What what is that about? I've
right.
looked at that. I've questioned it. Yeah. It's a good
Do
thing to
you
do.
feel your journey though, like where you are now, like you wouldn't be who you are?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. And also there's when you go through adversity, there is when you get to the other side of it, and have taken that on and accepted it and gone through the gauntlet, so to speak, when you're on the other side, you have a deeper understanding of life itself and to help perhaps help other people through that gauntlet because you've been through it. You've been through the ringer. You've been through some tough times that you can find healing and peace and love in that place within yourself that has let go of some of those old wounds and things that didn't seem right or where you were a victim but get to the other side of like oh no I'm not a victim I'm somebody who just is on the other side of it and I have found a way to find peace within myself through everything I've been through and know how to love and be kind and courageous and all those things that we want.
Well, it makes you, I feel like, more compassionate too, because if you witness, this is what I'm saying, what we're doing and we're talking about is like what other we want to bring to other people in our practices and our
Mhm.
energy work, healing work is I feel like as I've gone through so much of my own, I can see people clearer,
Mhm.
and then I understand their woundings, even if they don't. And like I'm not as like as reactive, I'm not as judgmental. I may not wanna be around them, but it doesn't
Mhm.
and I'm wishing them peace, I'm wishing because it's like, oh,
Mhm.
they're in their process, and I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps you be more compassionate, absolutely, and loving and
Yeah.
understanding. Yeah, we all need these things. Yeah, anyway, and forgiving even.
Yes,
Give
forgiving, that's big
yeah,
too.
that's big.
So
Yeah.
energy works can get you with the right perspective and understanding of
Mhm.
your participation as the client in it versus the practitioner.
Yeah,
It
yeah, and it can really work. Amazing things can happen with it, but to still have we live in a society where we want someone to, like, go to yoga class and show me every move I need to make. There is that outward focus. So to not put too much focus on somebody healing you, but that to somebody perhaps helping you or seeing you or helping to facilitate some stuff, some removing some blocks or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how to put it exactly. I'm trying. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then too, yeah, because if you move energy, you get the sessions, somebody really
Mhm.
wonderful like yourself, me too, but in my own way that I do things, and you can get that alleviation and you can get plugged in, like dealing with what I was dealing with in the last few weeks with my immune system and my hives and stuff. Once I started to really give my body the rest and asking certain people for help and readings and things like that, as I moved some of that energy, I actually got tapped in to my guides more, and they were telling me, "Do this, do that." Things I would never even have thought of because I was blocked.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So your own inner guidance gets stronger from it.
so removing some of those blocks can help you get more guidance because really it's about I want everyone to be more empowered. Yeah, and because that's what we're all on a journey to find that. So to unwrap those levels of stuff that are holding us back from being who we are supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing here, using our gifts, utilizing them, sharing them, helping each other along on the journey. Yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful thing, really. But yeah, I think that, but part of the, and this is why this is brought up, is like that tendency to want someone else just to cure you or to heal you. Sure, we all want that in some way, but there's also part of that self reflective process that you have to be willing to look at how you're living your life and go from there. And also, just one more thing about energy healing is just it's not really the energy healer who's doing it. It's there's all energy healing. You're connected to like these beings, to your higher self, to God, Jesus, who your team, they're really doing most of the work. They're the ones who are guiding you and directing you to do, oh, look, this is here, pull that out, or that's there. And this is about this certain thing. So give them information about that, but don't tell them that till later, or so many things. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have one quick story that I would love to share. Just that was,
Yeah.
and I told you a little bit about this earlier. Gonna do it. I was doing energy healing on this woman, and so she's in my studio with me. And so when I start an energy healing, I call in my guides and I do mantras. And I just, what I'm doing is like clearing the field
Uh-huh.
to do the work. And it takes me a few minutes. And I always tell clients I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes. And I'm going to be doing this. I'm not saying anything. And so I was doing that. And this time, and I always do this, I was doing some mantras, and there's three specific ones that I do that call in these guides to do this work. Very powerful. One is Jesus. And while that was happening, I started feeling this dark energy coming in, and the energy was getting darker and darker. Now, this has never happened before, ever. I'm like, whoa, what is going on here? And And by the time I got to the third mantra, I literally heard shut it down, like really loud inside my head. And I'm like, whoa, okay, shut it down. We're not going to do this. And
Yeah.
and so we did do energy healing. Me and the guys, we did do an energy healing, but it was nothing like what I was thinking that we were going to do.
Yeah.
Because they were going, no, like, and I think what was happening was what was going to come up and out, and this was her stuff, was too dark and too heavy for her to be able to handle it. And maybe
Oh,
even me, I don't know,
yeah.
because I was hearing shut it down, like we're not doing
Yeah.
it. So it was just an interesting experience. That was, I don't know, about 2 months ago or so. So I'm not sure. Anyway, something like that. That was an interesting experience that I've never seen happen before. So again, you just never know what's going to happen. And we did do something else. We
Oh,
cleared some stuff out, definitely cleared some stuff out, but it wasn't as deep or as heavy as it could have been because that was not right or appropriate. And my guides just were like, no. So we went to the lighter route, like doing Reiki on somebody and not making fun of Reiki, but late Reiki. Because I am a Reiki master. I have done lots of healing modalities. I don't even want to talk about them all. There's so many. But
We should have a show where you do, because I think you need to share.
okay, we can do that. But yeah, because Reiki is easy. It's like put your hands on somebody and you're calling in this universal energy, really light. It's really soft and light. And they'll feel really good. But it's not a big clearing process. It's not a
Yep.
clearing process. And that's the difference. That's one of the differences right there. And that doesn't mean that Reiki can't go heavy. Like some people who probably been Reiki masters have been using it for years might go to those other deeper places. But basically that is what Reiki is about. It's like just this really soft, gentle energy. Anyway, so she got soft and gentle.
Okay. What did you do in place of that?
Oh, I can't even remember. I'm sure, yeah. I can't remember exactly. I do really have to do some thinking about that to pull that back in because I do have
You
a
got
really
shit
good
to do.
memory, but yeah, we don't need to do that right now. Anyway, just another interesting experience doing energy healing and what can happen
Yeah.
or come up because it's full of surprises, so it's always interesting. Always, yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, have we covered everything?
We did. Well, the 48 minutes. So
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that chat about energy healing. We could talk even longer about, yeah, the different modalities and stuff. And maybe we'll do one about all, like what you've done, what I've done. We can make a list and go through. We could do that and be more specific about different types of energy healings and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Okay.
I think we should address, we could talk about this later, but I think since we both have that overlap with what sexual traumas or molestations, I could tell you my take on it and then how we clear it and how maybe experiences we've had with that. I think that'd be good because it's so epidemic.
Oh my God. Why is that true?
It creates a lot of problems for people in their lives.
A lot of wounding around that. A lot. Yeah.
All righty.
All right. Well, I hope you guys like this chat and with me and Kimmie. And yes, please let us know if you'd like us to talk about anything specific or what you might like to get information on. We'd love to talk about that. Yeah.
Till next time.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Like and subscribe for additional crypto intuitive readings, global predictions, and intuitive development education. If you would like a private reading with Kimmie or Lorina, please find our individual websites listed below. Please remember this information is for entertainment purposes only and should never be considered as professional financial advice.